On January 30th, 2026, the world witnessed one of the most significant government data dumps in history. Following the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the U.S. Department of Justice released a staggering archive: 3.5 million pages of documents, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images. These files, collected from FBI investigations, court cases against Ghislaine Maxwell, and inquiries into Jeffrey Epstein's death, were meant to finally bring transparency to a network that operated in the shadows for decades. But as the public began to sift through this mountain of data, it became clear that this release was as much about what was hidden as what was revealed. Today, we are breaking down the most shocking revelations from the 2026 Epstein files. The scale of this operation was massive. Attorney General Pam Bondi and the DOJ employed over 500 reviewers to scrub these documents. Their primary instruction was to redact the names of victims and their families, while leaving the names of notable individuals and politicians visible. However, the process was immediately hit by scandal. Lawmakers who viewed the unredacted files, such as Representative Jamie Raskin, accused the Department of Justice of a cover-up. Raskin reported seeing the names of numerous individuals redacted for mysterious or baffling reasons, while at the same time, the identities and even nude photos of victims were inadvertently made public. This led to a fierce backlash from survivors' attorneys who argued that the government was prioritizing the protection of the powerful over the privacy of the innocent. Among the millions of pages, several high-profile names emerged in new and disturbing contexts. Take Elon Musk, for example. Emails from 2012 reveal Musk inquiring about the wildest party on Epstein's private island, Little St. James. While Musk has since claimed he had very little correspondence with Epstein and declined repeated invitations, the logs show a level of familiarity that surprised many. Then there are the allegations involving Bill Gates. The files contain unverified emails, reportedly drafted by Epstein himself on behalf of an employee, suggesting Gates had engaged in extramarital affairs that resulted in a need for medical treatment. A spokesperson for Gates has dismissed these claims as absolutely absurd and completely false, accusing Epstein of trying to entrap and defame him. The political fallout has been even more severe in the United Kingdom. The 2026 release has triggered a full-blown crisis for the British elite. Former Ambassador Peter Mandelson was forced to resign from the House of Lords after the files included at least 10 photos of him in his underwear, standing next to a young woman in a hotel room. Even more concerning for the UK government were emails suggesting Mandelson may have shared confidential government financial documents with Epstein. And then there is the Duke of York, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Newly released photos show the former prince in compromising positions, including images of him on all fours over an unidentified woman. Beyond the photos, emails suggest Andrew shared confidential briefs regarding international investment opportunities in Afghanistan with Epstein while serving as a UK trade envoy. The situation became so grave that Buckingham Palace announced King Charles is ready to support police investigations into his brother's conduct. The files also shed light on the long-standing ties of Bill Clinton. While Clinton has always denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes, the archive confirms he visited the White House at least 17 times during the 1990s. Flight logs show he was a passenger on Epstein's private jet on at least 38 occasions between 2001 and 2003, often traveling to Africa, Europe, or Asia for foundation-related work. Perhaps most telling is that during a 2016 deposition, when Epstein was asked directly about his relationship with Clinton, he invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination every single time. But the 2026 documents aren't just about famous names. They reveal the dark, violent reality of how the network operated. One of the most chilling documents is an email from a former employee at Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. The email claims that 2 foreign women were strangled to death during sexual encounters and buried near the ranch at the direction of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. While these claims remain under investigation, they point to a level of violence that was previously only whispered about. We also learned more about the recruiting calls. In one recorded call, a woman believed to be an Epstein associate tells a young girl, "The more you do, the more you get paid," while arranging for her to visit Epstein's house. The mystery of Epstein's death on August 9, 2019, also gained a new chapter. Investigators reviewing surveillance footage from the Metropolitan Correctional Center observed a flash of orange moving up the stairs toward Epstein's locked tier at 10:39 p.m. Interestingly, the FBI and the Office of the Inspector General reached different conclusions. A corrections officer carrying linen. This discrepancy has only fueled further questions about the official suicide ruling. Even with Epstein gone, the shadow of Ghislaine Maxwell looms large. In a February 2026 deposition, Maxwell refused to answer questions from lawmakers, repeatedly invoking the Fifth Amendment. However, her attorney made a startling offer. Maxwell would be prepared to speak fully and honestly if President Trump granted her clemency. Maxwell maintains that both Trump and Bill Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing, but insists she is the only person who can explain the full truth. This move was met with immediate hostility from victims' families, who described Maxwell as a central, deliberate actor in a system built to deliver children to abuse. As we look at the 3.5 million pages released, a sobering conclusion begins to emerge. Some analysts argue that the Epstein network didn't die with him, it simply adapted. The infrastructure he built, the offshore financial pipelines, the property managers, the fixers, and the security details, remains largely intact. There is a growing concern that the syndicate has simply fragmented into a more secure, encrypted model, serving the same protected class of consumers. As Congressman Ro Khanna noted, failing to release the full, unredacted record only shields the powerful and hurts public trust in our institutions. The 2026 Epstein files were supposed to provide closure. Instead, they have revealed a global web of connections that reaches into the highest levels of tech, politics, and royalty. While the DOJ claims they have fully complied with the law, many believe the most important names are still hidden behind black ink. The search for justice continues, but as these files show, the truth is often buried under millions of pages of paperwork. Thank you for watching. What do you think is the most shocking revelation from this latest drop? Let us know in the comments below.